And let's begin with the news break coming in on China again taking a stand in favor of Pakistan, calling this time for a comprehensive, lasting ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Now, this is in a statement where China has urged both countries to handle their differences through dialogue. But remember that this kind of a statement for a lasting ceasefire has come at the same time as Foreign Minister of China, Wang Yi, has expressed China's support to Pakistan. And he's referred to Pakistan as our ironclad friend, as China's ironclad friend. And they've extended support to Pakistan in safeguarding sovereignty and territorial integrity. So these comments from the Chinese foreign minister came during his meeting with the Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar. Those are the pictures on your screens of their meeting. Ishaq Dar is in China on a 3-day visit, which we've been covering extensively here on India Today, because this is Pakistan essentially begging their ally China to not just side with them but provide all necessary help. We've been telling you also about how China provided all the arms and operatives needed for Pakistan to attempt to strike India. Now, at such a time, this visit also shaping up, and you can see clearly Pakistan, according to our sources, also raised the Indus Waters Treaty with China. Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs editor, is joining us with more details on this. Geeta, you've got China on one hand talking about a lasting ceasefire, calling for dialogue, and in the same breath referring to Pakistan as their ironclad friend. So it's very clear where they really stand on this entire matter.
Well, absolutely. When it comes to Pakistan, we know that it is known in many quarters as a satellite of China, a satellite state of China. And therefore, when there is problem with Pakistan, Pakistan always goes to China. So there are two things that have happened over here. One, the symbiotic relationship that you see between China and Pakistan, with China saying that you need to protect your national integrity and sovereignty, Pakistan reiterating the same, that we will do it, and then talking about Indus Waters Treaty. What is important, Akshita, to note over here is that it's not just Pakistan that's in Beijing right now. We also have the Afghan acting foreign minister, Muttaqi, who was in Beijing, and the Iranian foreign minister. So a very important meeting. China has been able to bring them together, and the dam projects that India intends to develop in Afghanistan could hamper a lot of the water flow into Pakistan. China influencing those decisions and ensuring that water into Pakistan does not stop in any which way. But influencing India's decision is going to be very difficult for Beijing, or for that matter for Islamabad, particularly Rawalpindi. So Pakistan will have to change its tack when it comes to terror before even thinking that India is going to consider removing it from the decision of putting it in abeyance.
And it's very clear with India's messaging there that Pakistan is going to be struggling as far as the Indus Waters Treaty is concerned, which is why they're now moving to China, asking them for all possible help, because they also don't have much global support right now, barring, of course, China, Turkey and Azerbaijan. Thanks very much, Geeta, for getting us all the big takeaways from that meeting that's happened between the Chinese foreign minister and Pakistan's foreign minister, Ishaq Dar. There, those pictures from China. So, Jyoti is currently being questioned by multiple agencies. The NIA is involved, the IB is involved, and then you have the local police as well. Let's get you details of really the line of questioning which we have access to on India Today. Several pointed questions that are being asked to Jyoti right now to get more details on exactly why Pakistan approached her. Why this young YouTuber? First of all, she's made 3 visits to Pakistan. So one of the most basic questions being asked here is who really helped her in her Pakistan trips? Who was she in touch with? Who helped her get these visas? How did she really plan these visits? Danish is central to this entire conspiracy. Who is Danish? He is essentially a staffer in the Pakistan High Commission in Delhi who was declared a persona non grata last week. And it is from him that this entire espionage racket was busted. Now, there are questions about how Jyoti knew Danish. So, agencies looking to find out how and when she actually met Danish, who introduced her to this Pakistan High Commission staffer, and then who helped with visa, with funds, with content ideas, because many of the videos that she put out from Pakistan was all about heaping praise on Pakistan, even post the Pahalgam attack, when she questioned our agencies, questioned our government, and then gave a clean sheet to Pakistan. In 2024, one of her visits to Pakistan, she actually extended her stay by 1 month. And so that question being asked by the agencies as to why she extended her Pak visa, what was the need to stay on for another additional month in Pakistan? So then the question comes up, who did she know there? What was she doing there? Now, who decided the tone and messaging of pro-Pakistan videos? Was there some handler, as some, in fact, reports suggest, who was instructing Jyoti on the timing of the videos, on what to put out, what is the kind of messaging, why take this pro-Pak narrative, who was feeding her all of these details? For the Pahalgam attack, for example, Jyoti put out a detailed video making one excuse after another for Pakistan and then blaming the forces for the Pahalgam attack, for the April 22nd attack. And so a question is also being asked specifically on that particular video about the Pahalgam attack, whether she spoke to any Pakistani agents. Now, it is suspected that in her phone there are details of Pakistani contacts who she was in touch with. Many of these chats are encrypted. There are chats that have been deleted. So she's also being asked about these chats on her devices. Who was she in touch with in Pakistan and for what? What was being constantly discussed that she felt the need to delete these chats and also ensure that it is happening in a completely private messaging service. So on her chats, questions also being asked about that. So far, sources have told us that she's refused to give any of these details. But remember, one of the most concerning bits is the fact that Jyoti was a travel vlogger. She'd visit different parts of the country. And so that's got agencies worried about whether she recce'd these sites, filmed them, put out videos, and then sent it across to Pakistan, religious sites, border regions. So she's being asked about that too. This is essentially all the issues being covered by our agencies. And like I said, reportedly, Jyoti isn't cooperating with the agencies, maintaining that there was nothing wrong in what she did, maintaining that she visited Pakistan, she was in touch with the Pakistan High Commission, but that she will not detail out why, or for that matter, those WhatsApp chats with a suspected ISI agent. It's not just Jyoti Malhotra. There's been a long list of the suspected spies who've been taken into custody. And there's a very disturbing trend. Each one of them taken into custody either from Punjab or from Haryana. Why is this that these two states have become recruitment hotspots? Well, there's a particular reason why Pakistan is targeting these areas. Sources telling us that essentially because of the strategic location of Punjab and Haryana, Pakistan is attempting to recruit more locals from here, military bases, airfields, missile units, all located in these regions. So they believe any local help will be good. And so individuals are targeted when they visit Pakistan. From Punjab, from Haryana, you do see people visiting Pakistan with a valid visa, mind you, particularly during the Baisakhi festival, Kartarpur corridor, all of those times you see visits happening. So when an individual crosses over to Pakistan, immediately Pakistan intelligence tries to reach out to them, to use them as their own asset. These visits, like I said, are for religious purposes, for trade, for tourism, all very much legal, valid, but then it's used by Pakistan, misused rather, and they try to exploit the situation. These recruits are essentially offered money for any information they can give. Like I said, there are multiple bases in Punjab and Haryana. So to give details about what's happening in their local areas, any army information, any troop data, troop movement, money is given. And we're being told it's just about 5,000 to 6,000 rupees given for every little information that these suspected spies actually give forth to Pakistan. And so most don't even understand what they're doing. They don't grasp the impact of their actions, thinking that they're just giving details of what's happening in their neighborhood for some money. And so thinking they're making the most of a situation, which is what's worrying, which is why there's also a great need to focus on awareness, on letting people know that these steps that they take of providing information which they think is harmless is actually something that could compromise India's national security. So let's run you through all of the names that have emerged so far of these so-called influencers who are turning informants. And I've said this earlier too. At the heart of all of this is Danish. His name is also Ehsan-ur-Rahim. He's a Pakistan High Commission official, a staffer who was declared a persona non grata last week and asked to immediately leave the country. We have already established the link between him and Jyoti Malhotra. Haryana-based YouTuber. She was someone who knew Danish for the last many years. So he repeatedly according to sources, according to agencies, helped her with getting visas, figuring out what to do when she visited Pakistan. The other YouTuber's name who's emerged is Priyanka Senapati. Now, she's based in Odisha. She and Jyoti are also friends. They visited Pakistan together. Priyanka Senapati has been questioned, but she's issued a statement saying she had absolutely no idea about Jyoti being linked to Pakistan or being an alleged spy. So at this point, there's a question mark on whether Priyanka Senapati is an accused or not. But there are other such influencers. Devinder Singh Dhillon is a Punjab-based Instagram creator and clicked a photo with Ramesh in Pakistan. So who's Ramesh? Ramesh is part of a Gurudwara committee. So he was, in fact, Ramesh Singh Arora is the president of the Pakistan Sikh Gurudwara committee. And so he's been arrested too. Dhillon has been arrested too. Because mind you, there's another name of Harkirat Singh. Again, Gurudwara committee here in India though, who's been helping some of these influencers and locals get visas, which is then of course exploited. So these are some of the influencers under the scanner. We've also broken down for you exactly why. Now, let's also take you through some of the spy scandals that have rocked India previously. Even as this one is currently being investigated, let's talk about the high-profile ones that have come to light in the last many years. There's the case of an Indian embassy worker in Moscow who leaked confidential information on Indian weapons systems after he was allegedly honey-trapped by someone using a fake identity. Satyendra Sewal was taken into custody right after it was revealed that he put out all of the sensitive information. Most cases you will see is of honey trap. There's the other case of a DRDO lab director who was based in Pune, Pradeep Kurulkar. He was also honey trapped by Pakistan, by an ISI operative, and he was arrested soon after it came to the fore that he leaked sensitive information. And this is a big issue because you see these people essentially being honey trapped and they're doing whatever it takes, providing all necessary information. Another such case was of Nishant Agrawal, an engineer at BrahMos Aerospace. Extremely sensitive information that he could hand over. He was honey-trapped by two individuals posing as women on social media and leaked classified BrahMos missile technology to the ISI, to Pakistan. Then you had also Madhuri Gupta, an Indian Foreign Service officer who was based in Islamabad, allegedly passed sensitive information to ISI, to the intelligence network of Pakistan, was arrested after returning from Pakistan. These are all cases of people, and you'll notice a trend here. They were all in powerful positions and so had sensitive information that they could hand over. The question that then comes up is now from these officials who had sensitive secrets with them, why are YouTubers, influencers being targeted? Because essentially Pakistan is now trying to use locals. Agencies tell us they're doing a narrative warfare as well. So different steps that Pakistan is taking to try and get as much information they can at every level and grooming people to become assets. And let's talk about all the arrests that have happened so far. 12 arrests in this entire espionage ring. We've told you, of course, about Jyoti Malhotra. She was arrested from Haryana. She is a local of Haryana. Then you have Nauman Ilahi, again from Haryana, who was taken into custody. This again reiterates the trend that I told you about earlier of most of these locals who've been arrested being either from Haryana or Punjab. Devinder Singh from Haryana being taken into custody. Arman too from Haryana. These were influencers, locals who've been taken into custody. Now, Falakshare Masi was from Punjab. He's been arrested right now. Suraj Masi, also from Punjab, arrested. Guzala was someone who also was allegedly involved in this entire espionage ring even before Jyoti Malhotra, brought Jyoti Malhotra into this entire spying racket is the allegation. She's from Punjab, she's in custody. Yamin Mohammed from Punjab, again in custody right now. Sukhpreet Singh from Punjab, Karambir Singh, Shehzad from Uttar Pradesh. So you had a long list from Haryana and Punjab, one individual from Uttar Pradesh also who's been arrested